What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Rob here with RK Motorsports. Today we're going to continue our rebuild and reassembly of our wrecked 2004 Yamaha R1. So I know it's been a few weeks since I did a rebuild video on this 2004 R1. Things have been a little bit hectic here. I actually ended up buying a stolen bike, so that was a whole ordeal. If you guys are interested in checking that out, that whole situation, I'll put a link up in the corner here that you guys can look at. I also went down to Mexico on vacation, so I've been trying to upload videos in the meantime for you guys to have a consistent upload schedule, so we've been doing that too. I actually also bought this little CRF50 that we got hanging up here in case you guys haven't seen that yet. So basically in today's video, we're going to be continuing the reassembly of this R1. We've got our new RM Stator. I know in the last episode we did have some issues with the first flywheel that we got from here, but we did have a new one shipped out to us. Tolerances are perfect on that, so I'm going to get that Stator back in there with the new flywheel. We also have our new swing arm right here, so I'm going to be throwing that new swing arm back on the bike. I already swapped over the shock and all the guards and stuff, the mud guard and all that from our old one. Here is our old one. Again, right in here, it was all ground down, and you can see right here, like right there is where there was a hole pretty much ground down through the swing arm. So we've got our new one here that we're going to be throwing on. I also did check out our wheels, and we do have an issue with our front wheel. Now, I threw them on the tire balancer, on the wheel balancer, just to kind of get them checked out. We have a little bit of a wobble on this side, but the big deal over here, there's a big bend in the rim right there. So I am actually going to be ordering a new front rim. Our rear wheel does have a slight bend in it. I'm not too concerned with that one. I think, you know, just balancing it with the weights will be able to counteract that issue. It's not super terrible. I think we can run with that. So I will definitely be getting a new front wheel for this bike. We'll swap over some new tires, get all that stuff situated. So in the meantime, let's get some of these new parts back on this bike. All right, so here is our old flywheel. So we're going to take this apart. Here is our second new replacement flywheel from RM Stator. All those magnets are covered. If you guys go to my previous video, you can find out why the reasoning is behind us getting this new flywheel. Just got to make sure we got these little cush drives in the right spot. And let's reinstall this. Now this little guy is our issue that we had the last time that did not want to go on. There we go. Slides nice. Slides in there real nice now. And we got that. Okay, so this is all together. Now let's get this back in the bike. All right, first things first, we got to make sure we get our new gasket on here. This is the one we purchased from RM Stator along with our new flywheel. All right, so that is on there. Now we can take our flywheel assembly, insert that back right there. It does have magnets in there, so that's why it kind of grabbed it in there real quick. Then we can reassemble this back on the bike. Be very careful when reinstalling. You do not want to drop any of the washers or anything down into the motor. All right, so we've got that new flywheel back in there. Everything's all installed. Now let's focus on getting that swing arm back on the bike. All right, so we got that swing arm on there. The only thing that I did not do yet is put that link in right here, that bolt for that link. So we're gonna address that in the future, but you can see this right here is where our old one was all ground down. We have a few scratch marks, a few surface marks, all of it's cosmetic. So this one it's not a perfect swing arm, but it's a hell of a lot better than we had originally. Just a little scuffing there. So we're gonna rock this. The next thing that I'm gonna do is I wanna get the front end back on this bike. So I'm gonna address these leaky fork seals. So let me take these, we're gonna throw these on the table over here. And then we are gonna start getting these seals repaired. We're gonna get some new fluid. This is the major one over here. All that dirt and grime, we've got all that fluid leaking out. So we're gonna take these forks apart, get some new fluid and some new seals in here. You know what, let's do the magic of the internet. Let's get these things rebuilt just like this. So here we go. And just like that, in a matter of a few seconds, we've got both of these forks completely rebuilt. New seals, new oil. These things are ready to go back on the bike, and the shop has also been cleaned up. So we've got everything cleaned up. We've got 50 here. Still got that 50 up there. We got this little 50 over here. Bikes have been rearranged. All of this room is open now. Working on this bike. So let's get these forks back on the front of this bike, and then let's get this front end back and assembled. And we also have our new front wheel right in this box. So we're gonna open up that after we get these forks back on. So there we go, we got those forks back on the front of the bike. Now I do have these just really loosely held in place right now. We still have to get our new clip-ons on, and we have to slide down our forks to get those clip-ons back in there. So that's just kind of held in place right now. In the meantime, let's open our new box for our front wheel. Let's see what we got here. Now this is an aftermarket wheel. Just kind of like a Chinese replacement. Brand new. There we go. I do like how they have these packaged with these rubber trim pieces around the edge. It's always nice. All right, so here is our new front wheel. Looks good. Pretty much the same color as OEM. I saw in the description, it did say that, you know, it was a pretty close match to OEM, the OEM powder coat color, so that's good. We've got our bearings, we've got our spacers in there, we've got a valve stem, so that's all super nice. All right, so let's get this with our front tire. Now this is the only front tire that I have kicking around in the shop. It is a used tire, but it is in really good shape. So I'm gonna be throwing that on the front wheel, so let's do that next. All right, so we've got our tire mounted on our new rim. Now, a little note, these little markings on tires, they're not on every single tire, but usually there will be like a little dot or a little circle. Pretty much what you have to do when mounting a tire is just line that up with the valve stem. This represents, I believe, the lightest point in the tire. So when you're putting it on the rim, just line that up with the valve stem because that's essentially the heaviest portion of the rim. Get those lined up so that it's easier to balance. We've got our wheel weights over here. So this rim and tire is all balanced. The next thing we need to do is just swap over our rotors from the old rim and put that on here. So that is what we're gonna do next. And we're gonna make sure that we put some Loctite on these as well when we reinstall. So that front wheel is all set. We got the rotors on there now. I am going to hold off on putting that on the front forks just because we do still have to get our new clip-ons on the bike. And to do that, we're gonna have to drop these forks down and then put the clip-on on and then put them back up and set them in place. That's gonna be a lot harder with having the front wheel on. So we're gonna hold off on putting that front wheel on there. So one other thing that I did wanna do was this fan on this side. There is some resistance on pushing it and getting that to rotate. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take these bolts off of this radiator, see if we can pop this forward. I'm gonna see if I can take this bracket off, maybe straighten things out a little bit, and then maybe see if we can get that to spin freely a little bit better. All right, so it looks like this fan still does spin pretty freely. We just got to bend these brackets out a little bit so it spaces it from the radiator, and then we should be all set. All right, so I attempted to kind of bend these brackets out so that this thing would spin freely. It does spin freely now, but the only issue that I'm having is I connected some power to this and the fan really does not sound healthy. It spins, it does its job, but it is very noisy. So I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. Plus, you know, I kind of got some washers over here spaced out. It's kind of janky. It'll work, but I think we can make this look a lot better. So I'm going to put some power to this and I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about with how this thing sounds. So I've got power connected to the plug right now. It's definitely doing its job, but you can kind of hear like a, oh yeah, like that buzzing noise. I definitely do not want that noise happening while this bike is running. That's gonna be super concerning to whoever owns this next. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go on eBay. I'm gonna pull these. That sounds so bad. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna order a new fan off of eBay. When that comes in, I will slap that on so we have a nice brand new fan that we're working with, and then we don't have to worry about those noises or those issues in the future. So as you guys can see, the more that we're diving into this bike and taking it apart, we're finding more and more little things that we have to fix and address. I'm gonna order those new parts, that new fan, and I think in the next episode, we're gonna get the front wheel on the bike. I do have a new gas tank on hand that we're gonna throw on here, see if we can get this bike fired up. So in the meantime, check out some other videos on the channel. And until next time, I will see you guys with the next episode. Peace out.